Hello everyone, and welcome to my Pokemon Shield Wedlocke Challenge. In this episode, I'm going to be explaining the rules and how I'm going to go about this challenge. So that way, if you want to play along, feel free to. And for those who don't know what a Wedlocke Challenge is, it is a variation of the Nuzlocke Challenge, which adds a couple more twists to it, to where it's making the Pokemon games a lot more interesting to play. And interesting or challenging can be interchanged there. So, the first rule, basic to both challenges, is fainted Pokemon are considered dead and must be released or permaboxed immediately once they die. So, if a Pokemon faints in battle, it's dead. Now, I'm going to make an exception to this rule just specifically for Pokemon Shield and Sword, if I ever decide to do something with that. But the exception here is that in the wild area, there are Pokemon that are considered very strong and are uncatchable and oftentimes way over leveled than where you are. To where if they knock my Pokemon out, I am not considering that a true death because circumstances wouldn't allow me to get out of that situation. And once I get all the gym badges, though, that wipes away. So if I train in the wild area and someone faints, it's dead. So it's mainly just a little help at the beginning of the journey with the very strong Pokemon that I encounter. And then the second thing I need to discuss in Pokemon Shield is raid battles, because in that case, technically your Pokemon can faint or your team's Pokemon can faint. But when you leave, your Pokemon, if it left fainted, is left with 1 HP. And since it's left with 1 HP, I'm going to consider them not dead if they faint in a raid battle. Because, as it shows, they came out hanging on to dear life, admittedly, but they still are alive. So, that's how I'm going to roll with that, to where if they faint in the raid battle, they are not dead, they're just extremely close to death. And now for rule number 2. I can only catch the first Pokemon per route. And I'm going to edit this slightly because Pokemon Shield is kind of weird in this case. To where there's overworld Pokemon that I can easily see, versus Pokemon hidden in the grass, which I have to run around for a little bit to find. So I'm going to enforce that I get the first 2 Pokemon per route, but only 1 that I can see and 1 hidden in the grass. Because there's such a different encounter there that I feel like it's fair to give me 2 shots. But I'm also, since this is a Wedlocke challenge, I'm enforcing a gender clause. I can only catch the gender I need first. And what I mean by that is, if I have my starter as a male, then the next Pokemon I need to catch needs to be a female in order for them to be a partner. Because in this Wedlocke challenge, it's a vanilla Wedlocke challenge where I can only partner male and female Pokemon. And once I have those partnered, I can catch whichever gender I want. But only until I need to substitute again. So where if I have an odd number of Pokemon, such as 1, 3, or 5, I need to catch the gender that is required to fill the hole. And say if I have need of a female Pokemon, but I run into a male, that does not count as an encounter. I can retry to get a female Pokemon. But I cannot catch the same Pokemon twice. I'm enforcing Dupe's Clause, because it helps with the uniqueness of Pokemon, to make sure I'm not having a full team of 1 Pokemon. And as an additional challenge, I cannot catch the evolution of said Pokemon. To where, say if I catch a basic Pokemon such as Squovit, I cannot later on then catch Greedent because it's the same evolution line. Therefore, I'm calling it the same Pokemon. And if I do run into encounters, I'm having an encounter limit of 5. Since I'm getting 2 Pokemon per route, I feel like the trade-off has to be I get a low amount of encounter limits, to where Dupe's Clause will kick in if I run into the same Pokemon 5 times, then I don't get a Pokemon for that part of the route. The next rule is pretty simple. It's you must nickname all your Pokemon. And you can have a naming theme. You don't need to have one. It just adds a little bit of fun. And then rule number 4. Pokemon are partnered together. Now this is where things get a little weird. I kind of covered this already with gender clause. But my Pokemon, since I can have 6 in a party, there's going to be 3 teams of 2. And this is a vanilla Wedlocke, as I have previously stated, to where it is one guy, one girl Pokemon. And if a Pokemon does not have a partner, it is a lone wolf, meaning I can't jump between that one and another team. It's fighting on its own no matter what, until it gets a suitable partner. And if I have a full team but one of my Pokemon faints, I have to replace it with a Pokemon from the PC, or if 2 Pokemon faint, then I have to replace them with a whole nother team. I can't just say, oh, I'll move my female Pokemon around or I'll move my male Pokemon around so I have a better team. Nope, whatever teams there are, I am stuck with. I do not get to mess around with that. And that leads to the final rule that I cannot withdraw a Pokemon from the PC. And that means that if I have a full team of 6, I cannot just replace teams here and there as I need. It's one of those that whatever 6 I have out in my party are what I have. And the only time I can replace them is if a Pokemon faints, or I willingly try to release one of my team, so that way I can make room for another Pokemon. And you can edit this rule however you want. I'm sticking with it, saying that I cannot withdraw them, so that way I have to use what I got and don't try to cheese every fight. But there you go. That's the simple rundown of my rules for the Pokemon Wedlocke Challenge. And I hope y'all will enjoy as I continue through Pokemon Shield. And thank you all for watching.